Okay, welcome to the introduction section. So human being has a very long history in managing data actually. In this page, we show the evolution of data management by human beings in the past years. For example, since 2000 BC, people have been using different tools in managing and storing the data we have. In the very ancient, people may rely on manual processing for recording as well as managing data we have. We can use different tools like paper and pencils. Even before that, I think you have all those things, different tools we can use for managing data. And some ropes and stones, we can use them for recording data as well. And after that, we have some new tools. For example, if you go to some computer museums, you will see we can use some punch cards to record the data we have. Normally, if we have some data, we just punch some holes on the cards. And if we plan to read the data, we just insert these punch cards into a machine, and it can read the data stored in the cards. However, these punch cards can be very inefficient in storing the data because if we have some data to store, we normally need to use a large number or amount of cards for storing them. And after that, we have different tools like a stored program for the sequential record processing and management. Then we have the online tools for the navigational state processing. As we're entering the 21st century, we can use these computers as well as database system to help us managing the data we have. In this course, we mainly focus on this relational database system, which is also one of the mainstream database system softwares used in the industry nowadays. Besides this relational database system, we also have some other types of database system already as well, like this multimedia internet network, as well as the MongoDB, which is not a relational database system. So as we can see, as the technology progresses, we can have different tools to help us manage the data we have. I think in the future, as the technology progresses, we can have some other tools to help us besides computers. And we can wait and see what kinds of new tools can emerge in the future years. And we have talked about DBMS, or the database management system, for a long time. And you may also wonder where or how this notation DBMS appears. In this page, we can provide with some information about the emergence of the notation for DBMS, or the database management system. In 1959, William McGee actually proposed a paper on generalization, key to successful electronic data processing, which is published in the Journal of SDM. At that time, the data was normally processed by some ad hoc programs, and they may need some generalizations. I think all the students in class should know in an operating system, we have a file system, which can also help us store some data as well. And I have a question prepared for you. What's the difference between DBMS and a file system, and why DBMS is necessary? Then the main reason is because for data processing and management, we may require some operations which may be used very frequently. However, if we only rely on the file system or some other system we used before the DBMS, they may rely on some ad hoc programs and requires a generalization. For example, the basic operation we need to use for DBMS include the sorting of the data we have, the file maintenance, data accessing, modification and update, as well as report generalization. And if we write different programs for different sorting or for different file maintenance, which can be tedious and also time consuming. And we need to have some system that can operating based on some generalized softwares and programs instead. That's the reason why DBMS is necessary. And also compared with the file system, DBMS actually provides us with some useful tools and language to handle the data we have, which can save lots of time for the programmers and end users. If we plan to operate with the DBMS, normally we just need to write some SQL or SQL, and we can describe the task we plan to do. However, if we use a file system, we have to write the program into very details, like for the sorting, for the accessing, reading the data we have from files, as well as writing, which can be very time consuming for programmers. And DBMS provides us with some necessary and helpful tools for managing the data we have. And nowadays, we have different database systems used in the industry and academia actually. However, the dominating database system is actually a relational database system, which relies on this relational model. And nowadays, we take this relational database system as granted actually. However, the relational database system is very hard, challenging to implement, and also very difficult to use in its older years and days. Here we provide a quote from Jim Gray. If you know him, right? He is a Turing Award winner for his contribution to database systems. According to Jim Gray, these innovations actually give one of the best examples of research prototypes turning into products. And the relational models, parallel database systems, active database systems, and the object relational database system all came from academic and industrial research labs. The development of database technology has been a textbook case of successful collaboration between academia and industry. If you know, right, for many great companies like the IBM, and they have been devoting lots of efforts for developing the database system for us. And also because of their contribution, and many of them also become the giant name already. And between the industry and academia, actually there is some gaps. Normally for the academia, we focus more on novel ideas, and we can develop some prototypes to implement our ideas. And in industry, they have lots of resources, and they can turn ideas into products. Especially nowadays, if you know about deep learning, actually the gap between industry and the academia is decreasing. And for many areas, the industry is even ahead of the academia nowadays. For example, deep learning, right? If you know that for not so novel models, they are proposed by the industry nowadays. If you have heard about the transformer, the BERT, as well as GPT-3, right? These models, they are proposed by Facebook, by Google, and by OpenAI, right? And Microsoft, by these companies. And models can achieve even comparable performance as human beings in natural language processing as well as computer vision. These models are proposed by the industry, not academia. I think we have some problems nowadays with academia because not so talents they are joining the industry to do many of the projects. The main reason is because the industry can provide the researchers with lots of resources about data, about machine, as well as human resources. So I hope in the future that academia can still leading the technology development instead by the industry. And because academia is generally free to develop any ideas they have in their mind, and the industry probably is more focused on the products instead. Okay, so things are changing. I mean, from the time of Jim Gray to nowadays, everything has changed a lot actually. And we're not clear for the future. Hope we can still be ahead of the industry and provide some new ideas. And you may wonder what are the examples of database system used in our real life. In this page, we can provide you with the example about Amazon. And during the pandemic, I think lots of people are shopping via Amazon nowadays. That's also the reason why the stock price of Amazon and many other like delivery companies are very high nowadays. If you go to Amazon and type some keywords of the products you plan to purchase, you will find that Amazon will return lots of results for you. So, for example, in this page, we type in the Xbox games. If I remember correctly, in the last year, both Microsoft and Sony, they are proposing their new console for the gaming, right? Both Xbox Series X as well as PlayStation 5, right? If we search some games in Amazon, they will return lots of results for us. Amazon is using a database system in their backend for storing all the products information in their servers, right? So, if we have some keywords input, the server will match the keywords with some of the descriptions or the title or the name of the products, and then return the products according to some orders, either by matching the keywords or according to the review comments, right? And so they are using a database system in their servers. Besides Amazon, if we go to IMDb, right, and search for some movies, the IMDb system will also return the movie information, right? IMDb is also using a database system at their backend for storing all the movie information, covering like the movie name or title, as well as general and timelines, rating scores, descriptions, and the director, writer, and stars, right? And if we go down, right, we can even see some photos as well as the comments from the reviewers. It's also using a database system for storing all the data they have. Besides this, we can also go to the Kayago, Priceline, and Expedia, right? If we plan to search for some flights flying to some destinations, we can provide our ranging and destination information as well as dates for both going and returning, and then the system will return the flights matching our requirements. So the Kayak as well as Priceline and Expedia, they also organizing their data for flights at the back end of their servers with the database system. They will store all the brief information for the flights, both origin, destination, the timing, and the price, right? And then once we have some inputs, they will return the records matching the inputs to the users. A closer example will be the library from FSU. If we go to the FSU libraries and we can type in some textbooks we plan to search for the database systems, the server will return all the textbooks matching our keywords and also sort them into a rank, right? So the library is all using a database system for storing all the textbook information in the library. It covers the book title and with the author and with ISBN with numbers and a year and some other description of the books. So you can see the database system is used almost everywhere in our real life. It is a very necessary and useful tool for us to maintaining and managing the data we have. It also enables also great functions provided by the websites.